dashboards with key metrics. So a nice way to start the day is having a look at how your business is tracking will be displayed in this section. Along the top, we've got the global search bar. We'll come back to that shortly. Next over is this favorites icon. So this gives you the ability to add key records that you work on as your favorites right here, and I'll show you later how to do that. And then over here is the notification icon. So this is when you create yourself activities or tasks, so you'll get reminders popping up here. Just wanted to ask, do you guys create activities against your sales record at the moment? Do you create tasks or activities on your sales records?
Yeah, Kelvin, can you answer that?
With the sales record, because we're doing on the property management side of it, so I guess with the sales record, maybe some other, like, one of other colleagues will actually update that.
Okay, so you're not currently creating tasks or anything like that?
Nah, not really.
Okay, not a problem. So then you can probably ignore that icon there. So next down here, we have our main tabs. So we've got Ironfish CRM is where we are.
Yep.
If you accidentally see that your tabs have gone, that's because you might have accidentally clicked on this app launcher and selected something else. As long as you're always on Ironfish CRM, that will give you the right tabs along the top. These tabs along the top can actually be customized. So you can use this pencil icon on the right-hand side to remove items that you don't use. You can actually also drag and drop. So depending on what you use the most, you can drag and drop them and put them in any order if that makes more sense to yourself. Okay, so any questions there before I keep going?
No.
Okay, so the other thing that's new is with the tabs, you now have these drop-down arrows. And clicking on the drop-down arrow gives you access to creating a new record right from here, seeing any favorites if you have them, looking at the 4 most recent items that you've accessed, and any recent list view filters that you've accessed. So a really nice shortcut from this drop-down arrow. If you don't want to use the drop-down arrow, you can actually click the name, and the name of the tab will open up that tab. And by default, and I thought I already switched this, the default will be this recently viewed. So anytime you click accounts, sales, prospects, etc., the default will be recently viewed. If I click on this drop down, the filters that are here are exactly the same filters that you're used to seeing in your Classic. So nothing's changed in that. You still see the same data that was created for you before. Okay. The difference here, though, is you now have the ability to search these list view filters. So if I start to type in Melbourne, it's going to reduce the number of list view filters that I can select from. So that's a nice new feature, especially when the list view filters is quite long. The other benefit is that it is broken down into the recent list view filters are at the top here. So I'm seeing my 5 most recent filters. And if I scroll down, I can see all other list view filters are listed below. So rather than trying to filter through a list, I have some easy options to get to the ones that I really want. So either the recent or searching up here. I'm going to select this one here. Now, if this is the one that I use every day, and you probably have filters that you tend to use more often than others, you can actually pin these as your favorite so that anytime you click on this tab, you won't see the default of recently viewed, but you'll see the one that you've selected and have pinned. So to unpin, you can't click it again. It's a matter of selecting another one and pinning the next one to be your favorite list view. What can you do in these list views? So really similar to Classic, and we've got buttons there along the top in the right, previously they were in the middle. You can resize by clicking and dragging columns. And you can sort by clicking on the column headings. So very similar to what you had previously. But there are some new benefits in these list views. So, for example, if I wanted to find one particular record in here, I can actually click and search this for a particular sale record. So if I know any details or something I'm looking for, I can click to, instead of using the alphabet hyperlinks that used to be along the top, I can be more specific in my search within this particular list view. So a little bit different to the global search in that I'm searching already a reduced amount of data. To undo that, I can click this X and then click on refresh, and it's going to return all the results again. The other thing you can do in these list views that's new, and a nice new feature, is this chart feature. So this chart feature allows you to see a snapshot of the data that's here on the left-hand side. So obviously, the more you refine the data on the left-hand side, the chart will be based on the data that we currently see. You can actually create your own charts. You can also change the one to display as a different type of chart. And we can see the table down below. And you can also create your own brand new chart, and they'll be listed up here, available for you to select from. So a nice way to see the snapshot of the data that's here without having to go and build a report. Any questions there before I continue?
Nope. Oh, good.
All good for me.
Okay, so let me show you how you can create your own list view. So this is a new feature. We're able to now create our own list view feature. So I can either clone this existing one or create a brand new one. I'm just going to say new. And in this example, I'm going to say Jimmy's and Lee's sales. I'm giving you an example of a list view. It's probably not one that you're going to need, but it's just showing you the capability of it. And we do have a quick user guide that Rita will send out to you at the end of the meeting to show you how to create a filter of your own. If there is something that you need to create and you're struggling in doing it, excuse me, just reach out to the team. Rita will give you those contact details and we can create those filters for you. So once you create the filter, the filtered list, you now need to add the criteria. So we're on the filter panel that's open, and I'm going to say I want all sales, and we've got options between my, all, and my teams. And if I save that, you'll see that the list has been updated. If I add a filter now, I'm going to say I want the sales consultant to equal Jimmy. And I'm going to click save. So here I'm going to see all sales contracts where Jimmy is the sales consultant listed on here. And because I've called my list view Jimmy and Lee's, I'm going to add another filter. And this time I want the sales consultant to equal Lee 1. And click on save. Now I have nothing returned. Why do you think that is?
Mm,
Any
no idea.
idea? It baffles a lot of people, right? So notice here we have matching all of these filters. We've got sales consultant equals Jimmy, and by default, any filters you add will be an and in between. So there can't be a sales consultant of Jimmy and Lee. It would be Jimmy or Lee. This is what we call filter logic. So you'll see down below we have a hyperlink for filter logic. When I click on it, you'll see the numbers appear for what the filter number is, and we can see that the default is and. So if I change that to or, and with filter logic, you can get really technical. You can add brackets around things to bundle filters together and so forth. And now you can see I am seeing what's the results of anything where Jimmy or Lee is a sales consultant on these sales records, just because I've changed that filter logic. So really important. That filter logic is a bit hidden. It's a blue hyperlink. To remember to expand that to make sure that you've got your ands and ors in the right place for those more technical filters. questions there before I continue?
No, all good.
Yeah, Tammy, because our office actually uses share accounts from Fiona.
Yes.
Yeah, so I'm just wondering if, like, is there a limit to how many leads you can create, and with the leads as well? If we created it and then someone else created something similar as well, will it like double up or whatever it is?
You will. So the limit for list is quite large, so I don't think you're going to hit that limit. But they will appear below here. So if you're sharing accounts, they're all going to be listed below. So I would recommend that if you do have similar filters, that maybe you work together as a team to determine what needs to be created, and then they get created once.
Yeah, okay. Yep, thanks.
A lot of you will probably want something similar, but yeah, and maybe a naming convention for them so that they're all bundled together so you can easily see them in the list.
Yep.
So maybe a prefix to make them all bundled together might be a good idea.
Sure, no problem.
Any other questions in that?
No, all good.
Okay, so the other thing you can do, because you've created this list for yourself, you now have the ability to also select which fields you want to display and in what order. So clicking on the cog and selecting the fields to display. So one field that we didn't have was the sales consultant, and I'd like to see that. Just helps me validate the filters that I've put on mine. So I can add it to the right-hand side here, and I can put the order that I want. I can add the sales manager. I can actually hold down the control key and select multiple and jump them over.